Just wrapping up on the Rockets, there's a name we did forget, Jabari Smith Jr. He's also a solid player, but he is also
Yeah.
someone I think would be a pretty good trade piece when you think about it. So, I guess to summarize, Nico, your belief is if you're the Rockets and you can get Giannis, you trade whoever. Sam, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm with him on that. You got to go after Giannis. If you
Mm.
can get your hands on him, you go all in. But I think I would definitely trade Jabari and maybe Brooks as well. Throw both of them in there in the trade and get a good piece.
I mean,
But
I
I don't know
don't
how many
think.
people will take Brooks. But he
No, by the way,
proved,
Brooks is hold on. Let's give that man his flowers. Brooks has proven
yeah, I
himself
agree.
by coming to the Rockets. The guy had a huge target on his back after his all of his antics in
Against
Memphis,
LeBron.
and then against LeBron, and then he went out for Canada in that summer and he hooped.
Balled out.
Okay,
Mm.
then he got paid 80 million over 4 years by Houston. Everyone thought that was a waste of money, and he's been cooking.
Mm.
But I think if you can get away with trading, I want to say
You
one
can't
of
get rid of a Green. I don't think you can get rid of a Green.
it's one of Sengun and Green and one of Jabari Smith and Dylan Brooks.
Who's going to be your wing? You need a wing to win these
Dude,
days.
I mean, you would expect,
Tari Eason.
yeah,
Tari
Tyrese can
Eason.
hoop. What happened
Yeah,
to Cam
but
Whitmore, by the way? Cam Whitmore cooked last year, and now he's not playing very much, or is he injured?
No, I think he's not injured. I just think he's not getting into the
he's
rotation.
not
That's
getting. Yeah.
crazy because he was a big
But
part of it.
I feel like though Amen Thompson and Reed Shepard are going to come take that backcourt.
I agree.
So I
I
think
agree.
I
But you
don't know.
want
What about?
someone, but you want someone
Yeah,
that can light up and shoot, and Amon Thompson can't really shoot at the moment.
no, not yet, not yet.
But let's stay in the West before we go back East. One of the teams that we said we wanted to highlight today is the Mavericks. Obviously, got to the finals last year, picked up Klay Thompson. You know, last year over the course of the first couple of games, they were 5-1 in clutch situations. This year, they were 1-5. They seem to be dropping games late on. You touched upon it early, Nico, which is Luka seems to approach every season a little bit out of shape. Sam, again, you've been in and around the league. What are your thoughts on a star player coming back and maybe not? I think what you want to see as coach and as a fan is players sort of getting better every year, and Luka's obviously getting better. But then at some point, you also have to take the physical part seriously, right? You got to change your body. At what point do you think Luka has to start thinking about doing that?
First, he needs to take a whole summer off and just work on his body. What is Luca doing? He's been playing nonstop. As soon as he stops with the playoffs he's done, he goes overseas and plays with his national team. Then he gets done and he'll take his little 2 weeks off prior to training camp, and then he barely participates in training camp, and then he just jumps into the season. And that's throwing the whole timing off of the Dallas Mavericks and his teammates. If I am the Dallas Mavericks, if I am Mark Cuban, Luca, you're done this upcoming summer. You're not playing in the Euro Cup or the Euro national team, whatever's going on in the summer. No, you're not doing it. You are staying home. We are working on your diet. We are working on your body. Any injuries that you had throughout the season, we're going to go ahead and heal it up. And I want you to come in fresh because as you see late in the game, he is struggling. And with Kyrie as well getting older and Clay, they are bad on the wings. They are a very bad defensive team on the wings. And as you know, you got to be able to defend the wings nowadays to be able to win.
Nico, you actually brought up a good point, which is about Luka's effort defensively. Obviously, they lost a game recently because he let someone cut back door. I think first and foremost, let's also all acknowledge that offensively only, like he's on track to maybe be one of the best players of all time. He's got one of the deepest bags of all time. He's incredible. He's effortless. He's
The
actually
beast.
he's a beast. He's a monster. Right?
Yeah,
He can
man,
score.
he's
He's a
unbelievable.
10 level scorer, and he's a great passer and a great
Yeah.
facilitator. Right. So with that in mind, as a coach, do you sort of let him take time off on defense, or do you want him to then build that part of his game as well?
I mean, Luca has a problem. Me and him have the same body, which is not a good, which is not good for him. I think that sadly that team, Kyrie, Clay, guys who aren't going to lock you down. I mean, Clay used to, but now he's just a bit older. Then you've got Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, all good role players, but they're not going to lock anyone down. There's no lockdown defender. There's no system of defense around him.
Can a team with Kyrie, Clay at this age, and Luca in this current shape, regardless of with two other players, can that team win a championship? Or was the Mavericks run last year, the finals run a bit of a fluke?
It
I
wasn't
don't
a
see it.
fluke. I don't see it this year, but it wasn't a fluke because I think Luka's the best offensive player in the league.
He is.
But defensively, he's not a top 50 player, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous marriage. I don't know. I think that with him, look, even Steph is a decent off-ball defender. Luka's
Steph's also
gotten
decent
better.
on ball. Steph's gotten better on ball as well.
Luka's 6'7". Come on, you know, just put your weight on them. I think that they're not going to have a deep run, but I wouldn't sound the alarms just yet. You know, they're still figuring out the whole Clay chemistry. But Clay and Kyrie are not the players they once were, even if they light it up one night. So I guess you're
Right.
going, this isn't a regular season team. This is a postseason team. Let's see what we can do. But, I mean, if they play like the Rockets, that team is all wings. You know, everyone in that team is
Except for Alperen.
6'5", 6'11". You know, like that's like a specific matchup might bring real trouble for them.
Agree.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Let's go back east. So, Nico, you said 2 weeks ago, sorry, one of your calls was that the Cavs would lose one game, not more. You're correct. I personally still don't think this is a team that's going to get past the conference finals. I think that's their ceiling. Where do you think this team goes, and will they finish in a top 3 seed in the East?
I would be very surprised if it wasn't a top 3 seed East. I think that this is a team that's going to be a great regular season team. I'm thinking
Exactly who they
I'm thinking top 2 seed. It's them or Boston. Philly, like we said, is in the basement. The Knicks are still figuring it out. The Magic are young, and then you've got all those like Middle East teams like the Pistons and the Bulls and like the Magic, which are like more playing. Indiana's having a tough time with Tyrese. I think top 2 seed, and it's conference finals or bust. Because then, like, what are we doing with this team? There's too much talent to be knocked out in the second round. This is the second most talented team in the conference. Probably neck and neck with the Knicks.
They're first in the NBA, averaging 123 points a game offensively.
Wow.
And
they're doing it by moving the ball, by the way.
Right. And what's crazy is Golden State is number 1 in the West with Steve Kerr, and former assistant Atkins now in the East, number 1. So it's crazy to see both of them leading both conferences. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I think Sam made a great point last week about how good of a coach Kenny is, Atkinson, and I think he could be coach of the year. That'd probably be my favorite right now.
Right.
So
and good for him because Brooklyn ended badly with him. He kind of got kicked out a little bit.
He was in a tough situation. But let's go back to that then. So now we're saying this team is averaging the most points per game in the NBA. They're also an excellent defensive team.
Right.
At the core of that is Evan Mobley, who's really coming into his own this season. So with those two things in mind, how come we're all in agreement that they're not going to challenge the Celtics? What's missing from this team?
Who is going to guard Tatum and Jaylen Brown on these wings? Those guys are 6'7", 6'8", athletic, experienced dogs. And if Boston end up with the best record in the East and has home court advantage, Cleveland has no chance. The only way they might have a chance if they have home court advantage, I think, in my honest opinion. But I just don't see them beating the Celtics. The Celtics are just a very well put together team.
You think TD Garden is one of the hardest places to play in the league?
Hands down. Hands down.
Interesting.
I agree. I mean, it's definitely one of the most hostile environments. I would compare it to like an Anfield in the Premier League of like Liverpool. Like, it's look.
Yeah,
if
a
you're
bunch
the
of fucking people from Boston yelling ridiculous things at you.
right?
I did hear that, by the way, like crazy shit.
It's a pretty salty crowd, and also like if you're the Cavs, you're not going in with LeBron for a Game 7. You're going in, with Mitchell, which is a difference.
Yeah, that's true.
It just feels like the Celtics.
Can Mitchell be that guy on a championship team?
I mean, we're going to find out.
Quickly.
Quickly. Like this is he's right in the middle of his prime. He is the leader of that team. He might not be the best player every night. Mobley might have a higher ceiling. Mobley's a bit of a calmer Kevin Garnett. That's
Right.
kind of like a diet Kevin Garnett energy.
Kevin Garnett.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like
was Allen hurt for the majority of the season last year? Because right now he's making a huge difference
Jared
defensively.
Allen is playing at a
Was he
very high
hurt?
level.
Was he hurt a lot last year?
can't remember, but he
I'm not
Because
sure. Rob, if you can look that up for us in the background, that'd
he
be great.
struggled in that Cavs series. I think 2 years ago. I was there. I think I'm wearing the shirt. But he's taken a step up.
oh
He's
my
taken a step.
gosh, defensively he is a beast.
Yeah.
So, staying in the East, I don't think we'll touch on the Knicks today. I think I want to give the Knicks and the Timberwolves till 2 weeks from now when these teams start to figure out their new rosters a bit more. One team I do want to speak about, and specifically one player, is one guy we've referenced a lot already, is Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis. They're starting to figure it out. I mean, I think they started so poorly that any kind of uptick would be seen as like a figuring it out. But Nico, you from the end of last season called that Giannis was going to have a MVP-like season, and that this would maybe be his last chance to win in Milwaukee. Do they have enough if everyone stays healthy?
They don't have enough to win a chip, I think talent wise, but I have a weird feeling that they're gonna end up pretty high. I think they're gonna end up being the third seed because I think that Yanni
You
is
think
just
they'll
gonna
end up
drop.
being the third seed? Hold on, let's see where they are right now in the rankings.
They're rough. They're probably like the
They're
ninth
that
seed. I
bottom,
think.
yeah. Do
Yeah,
you
I
think they'll
think-
come April they'll be better than the Cavs?
No,
Dude, they're
no.
fifth right now. Hold on, that's fucking crazy. That's how bad the Eastern Conference is.
No,
There
no,
are-
not record wise. I'm talking team wise. Are they better come April to compete and contend against Boston Celtics?
I mean, Giannis just as of yesterday is now the player with the most 30-point games in the last decade, which is crazy. Okay.
Which
You would
is
have never
insane.
thought that, right? With James Harden playing at his level. I mean, that's one of the most absurd stats I think I've ever heard.
I think that it's his. He's my MVP pick, which is crazy to say.
So look, they're fifth in the East right now. They're one game below 500. There are only 4 teams in the East that are above 500, which is crazy. But they're actually only a couple games out of third. So your call isn't that crazy. I mean, the Magic are third at 11-7, and the Bucks are 8-9. That's like a 4-game switch, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and the Magic have been lucky that they've been kind of dealing with Paolo's injury well. But I don't know. I just think the Bucks, like, they're not as bad as we think, but they're not going to be as good as I would have hoped for. I don't think they'll be better than the Cavs, Sam. I think the Cavs have too much depth, and with Dame, I really don't know what Dame I'm getting. I think that what they
The
should
last
do,
3 games, you've been getting the great Dame.
the great
He's been
Dame.
balling.
Yeah, I've been getting Dame, like Lady of the Manor, like fancy Dame. But
Do we
then,
think it'd be kind of crazy if Dame never won a championship?
Yeah, he wouldn't be the first great point guard though. To
No,
win
it
one.
wouldn't be the first great player, but it's just that he was one of those guys that he's clutch, he hits big shots, he knows how to play in a system, he does somewhat defend, but he's a lot older than people realize. Isn't he like 33 or 34 already? So
I think,
it almost
34.
feels like this is his last chance. This might be Milwaukee's last chance with this roster. Otherwise, they're gonna have to blow it up next year, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So just to reference back, sorry. What's his name? Jared Allen was hurt last playoffs and played minimal minutes, so that's why maybe they struggled a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah, because he makes a huge
also-
difference.
I like this guy Andre Jackson Jr. on the Bucks. He's a pretty good defender, young guy. I think that the Bucks need to just lean on their AJ Jackson Jr.
He's a rookie, right?
I think he's a rookie.
Yeah,
he is,
they
yeah.
drafted. They got 2 young players in the draft that are actually pretty solid.
And
Which helps a lot.
Giannis loves him, by the way. He spoke very highly of him.
Yeah, I think with the Bucks right now, lean into your youth, because you just need effort around Giannis because he'll get the points. And I think play Dame. I've been seeing like online, people are like, give Dame the ball, let him like run the court. It's like, no, like Yanni's a great facilitator. Like play Dame off the ball, coming off screens, have 2 ball handlers on the court. That's what you want.
So Gilbert Arenas said something super interesting about this. He was like, if you're Dame Lillard, instead of trying to go off and cook right away and, in the first 6 to 7 minutes of every quarter getting tough buckets, he's like, let Giannis go, get everyone in foul trouble, and then start attacking the basket and just get easy points at the free throw line. He's like, you don't need to be putting up crazy stats, taking difficult shots. You need to be scoring 29, but it should seem like you're scoring 20, right? So a little bucket here, a little bucket
agree.
there. And that was
I love
actually a
that.
very interesting take.
and
which I
say
thought was
and save those big buckets till the end of the game because Giannis is
100%.
going to give you the ball at the end of the game anyways.
100%. And
Yeah.
that's what they brought him in for. Let's not forget that, right? They brought him
to
in
be a
to close
closer.
games out because Giannis, as good as he is, isn't going to hit a step back three with 1 second left on the clock.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Although he
Speaking
did
of-
against someone recently. Remember, he hit like last week. He hit a three against someone in OT where they let
Against
him
Detroit. Against
against
Detroit.
Detroit. He
Yeah, it
just
was against
walked into
Detroit.
it, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, "Whoa, this
crazy.
is different," you know.
That's great. But saying that, I mean, what are you guys thinking of the NBA? I mean, does it look fun to you this year so far or no?
I think it does. It's pretty unpredictable so far.
I think every year basketball is played at a higher level.
Right.
I think the NBA is at the highest level it's ever been at right now. I think even though the Eastern Conference tends to produce slightly weaker teams, we still have the most potential contenders that we've ever had. I think if we look through, I think in the East there are realistically there are 4 teams I think that could go to the finals: Cavs, Celtics, Knicks, and Bucks. Honestly, and in the West, if I had to guess, the Warriors could, the Thunder could. I'm not going to say the Rockets yet. The Lakers could, the Nuggets could, the Suns could, and the Mavericks
Okay.
could.
So what do you
Maybe
think?
the
So what do you guys?
Timberwolves.
So what do you guys think about the Shaq comment that he says he blames the 3-pointer for the low viewership when
Low
Shaq came
viewership
out?
low viewership is because it's getting more expensive to watch games. Number one.
Yeah.
And I actually think Shaq is a pretty solid pundit, but I think that's a pretty ridiculous statement. More spacing in the game has created a lot more opportunity for players to drive and to get those highlight plays, right? Because if you're stretched out and you're worried about people shooting, then it's more likely that Anthony Edwards is going to blow by you and dunk on someone. So I don't think the
Right.
three-pointer makes it less interesting. If anything, it actually adds a lot of spacing to the game and it gives people more of an opportunity to do their thing.
You know, it was a crazy stat that the MLB this year in the World Series had more viewers than last year's finals, Boston versus Dallas, which I was shocked. But I think
MLB
maybe,
players are also the highest paid athletes in the world.
but maybe it's because it was the LA Dodgers and the New York Yankees as well. You know, that
I think
2
it's
big
that.
markets.
I think the low viewership is like World Series, two biggest markets. Also, like election, probably people aren't like watching as much. And Booty's right; it's a little bit more expensive. And also, there's a lot of people that illegally stream basketball.
And a lot of injuries, don't forget. A lot
Yeah,
of
a lot of
stars are missing out.
Yeah,
100%.
you know. But I feel like NBA playoffs, the ratings are never going to be down.
No,
So maybe
NBA
the
playoffs
finals,
is my favorite thing in the world to watch, honestly.
Oh,
I
man,
think it's
nothing
the
like
best
it.
there's nothing better. Two
So
games on a day.
Speaking of injuries, there is one player staying in the East as well that I want to speak about that I think in the past couple of years has had injury problems, hasn't really played it as well, but is really starting to cook right now. And Nico brought up a good point. He doesn't know how there might not be that many players, not many point guards better than him in the NBA right now. Is Lamelo Ball. So I personally did not think he was going to ever reach a level that he's played at so far this season.
Before we go into that, did you guys realize he got benched 2 games ago when his coach benched him at the end of the
Yes.
game?
Yeah,
Took
for
him out.
Trey Mann. Yeah.
Yes, and they end up losing the game, so that's not a good look
I know.
because he was
but-
having an awful night.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes playing those kind of games and seeing how your players respond is okay, right? It's an 82-game season. It's not like the NFL where every game really matters.
But why,
Of course,
Abudi? Why would you bench me? It's all good. I can go 0 for 7, but I am the star. I want the ball at the end of the game. I am 1 shot away. My mentality is make the next shot. So why are you putting me on the bench for this guy? I'm the franchise player. Are you out your mind? This
Yeah.
is my time.
It's worrying. I don't know how he'll respond to it. I don't know.
Right. Like it's different. It's Abudi, it's different if you're benching me because of my antics or I'm playing out of character. I'm just off, but it's fine.
Okay,
It
so
comes
we
down
lost
to
the-
1 shot.
They lost the game by 1 point. Had they won the game by 1 point, would we be saying this?
I will not take my star out. There's no way I am. There's no way. I'm gonna tell him, go ahead and win it for us. You got it. Forget about everything else. Balls in your
Okay.
hand. Go win it.
Fine,
Take us
I'll give
there.
you that. But
Yeah.
Sam, now as a tall point guard, I mean you're 6'4", Lamelo's 6'8", which is pretty crazy.
Right.
What do you think of how he's played so far this year? Can he
Freaking
lead a team deep in the
phenomenal.
playoffs?
I mean, they are looking good, but what's their ceiling? At best, 8 seed, maybe get by the first round. That's about it. I don't see them going any further.
They're
than
sitting
that.
at 6 and 10 right now, and they're in the 11th seed.
Yeah,
so
I
they're not
don't
even
see
in the
them.
play-in.
No, I don't. I mean, if they're lucky playing in max 8 seed,
But with him and what's this guy's name?
Brandon Miller.
Brandon
Brandon
Miller
Miller.
also playing at such a high level. What else would a team like this need to become at least not even a contender, but like a serious playoff threat?
They're missing a lot of pieces, and they need
Yeah.
a very an experienced head coach as well.
Okay, so how many point guards in the league right now are better than Lamelo?
Very good question. Nico, I'll let you start that off.
I mean, look, we can kind of go through them. Would we take Ja Morant or Lamelo?
Morant,
Probably
Morant.
Morant.
Okay. Would we take
Brunson.
Brunson or Lamelo? Probably Brunson, right?
Okay.
I guess
Okay,
the
would we
question is
take-
though. I guess the question is with those two teams. If you put Lamelo in New York with this, I mean, so I agree Brunson's better. But if
Yeah.
you put Lamelo in New York with this exact same team, like what's their ceiling, right?
I don't think it raises it. I don't because their system. Brunson is like such a.
No, man.
He's
He's a
such a, like-
bulldog, man.
He's
No,
a
you
bulldog.
can't keep
That's
it.
the word.
Yeah.
He's a bulldog. Lamelo's like a leopard. You know what I mean? Like he's got fancy spots. Like Brunson is.
And he's
yeah.
playing in Charlotte. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so you
like-
said both Brunson and John Morant.
Ja
are
Morant.
better.
Would you
Steph
take
Curry-
Jamal Murray?
no I
now?
wouldn't.
No, I'd take
No.
Lamelo.
I would take.
Okay.
Would you take?
Nice.
Would you take
But Shea's
Fox.
better than him.
Fox? I'd take Lamelo. I think.
Ooh.
I don't know, dude. De'Aaron Fox has led the league in fourth
Yeah.
quarter scoring like for 2 seasons. He's also a great
It's the
defender.
size, though. It's the size difference. That's why I do.
Yeah, but why are we fantasizing about size when Lamelo's never had a winning season? At the end of the day, Nico, you and I were speaking about this before
Yeah.
Sam jumped on. Is that Dwayne Wade
Yeah.
took not a bad team, but a pretty average team to the NBA Finals, and he won that year, which automatically cements his greatness. LeBron James, okay, in his third or fourth or fifth, whatever it was, fifth season, took a team with Zergundas Ilgauskas and Mo Williams to the NBA Finals. That's what makes you great. So we can fetishize about how good Lamelo, this 6'9" point guard who plays with a smile on his face and all the hype around him because of his dad. But at the end of the day, he hasn't done shit in Charlotte. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
But does he have a player as good as Sabonis on his team? Probably not.
No,
You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Or DeRozan. Brandon Miller is probably maybe a bit better than DeRozan right now, but like
Right
not
now,
consistent.
yeah, but that's their. But Sabonis is a beast.
I think I would take Lamelo over, and I love Fox because also Fox defensively is a lot better than him. You know, Fox is a
Correct,
little.
he is.
He's like an Amen Thompson vibe of a player. You know, he's tough, but I think I'd take Lamelo. What about Halliburton? Halliburton or Lamelo?
LaMelo.
I think right now this season, Lamelo.
LaMelo.
Halliburton.
Season, yeah, but again, Halliburton. I don't know. It's tough.
I don't know. They're similar players. They're the ones that I think are they interchangeable. Because if Lamelo was on the Pacers, I don't think that much would change.
No.
Maybe just like.
And I
they
think
would
if
have
Halliburton
less-
was on the Hornets, I don't think that much would change.
I agree. I
But
think
do you
they'd actually
guys
be worse.
agree that LaMelo has improved year after year, though?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. I also his ceiling is higher than what I thought it was going to be. I didn't
Me
think he'd
too.
be this good.
Me
I
too.
didn't think he'd be this
I've
good.
actually thought he'd struggle in the league, especially with his weird ass jump shot. But I'm happy to see him doing well. Honestly, I think he's fun to watch, and I think he's got a bit of Steph Curry carelessness, not careless, sorry, like effortlessness in him, where he makes the
Right.
game fun to watch. And he's like. I know he's worked obviously very hard his entire life, but he's the definition of natural talent. I mean, he's a beautiful basketball player, right? So I think when we
Yeah.
see those guys thrive, it's very fun to watch.
He's got touch. He's got that natural touch. Would you
He
take
tr-
Dame or Lamelo? Not to cut you off, Sam. Dame or Lamelo?
When? Prime Dame or right now Dame?
No, right now. Right now.
But
You
what
take-
are we talking about? Are we talking about for one season? Are we talking about for one game? Are we talking about for
Yeah.
franchise?
I mean, who would you rather have on your team this season going into the playoffs, Dame or Lamelo? I feel like
Dame.
Dame.
really.
Yeah.
Proven.
Dame hit the coldest series-ending jump shot. Oh, second
Yeah.
coldest, I guess, because of Kawhi Leonard. But
Yeah.
the second coldest series-ending jump shot in the history. That
He
guy's
ended
done
the
it before.
franchise. They
He ended,
traded everyone
he
off.
ended that entire franchise, right?
Yeah.
And he
That was
did so
crazy.
just Dame time.
Just
Damn
bye
time.
bye.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
I think we're wrapped on the topics we want to discuss for this week. I think because we actually did pretty well last week, let's keep it consistent. Nico, give me a couple predictions for things you think we'll talk about in 2 weeks from now.
In 2 weeks from now, I'm hoping that we'll be talking about a new player on the Lakers. I'm hoping that
Already?
they will make a trade. I'm just thinking they're waiting for that December thing where more people are tradable. I'm hoping that we have a trade before the end of the year because I'm hoping JJ's aggressive with the front office. I think keep an eye on the Spurs because they just beat the Warriors last night, and I like Stefan Castle. I think maybe they'll get a couple scrappy wins. The Rockets are looking real good. I'll give you your flowers on that. What's another prediction I can give? McCain, I think, is going to keep going strength to strength and putting his Rookie of the Year case. And the Bucks, I think, are going to keep winning. You know, I think they're going to. The Bucks are going to take over the Magic, probably. I would imagine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Sam?
There's a team that I'm curious to see what they're going to do because they are struggling. It is the Sacramento Kings. After such a breakout season last year and the year before.
2 years ago. Last year they didn't. Last year they actually didn't make the playoffs.
They made the play-in and they lost to the Warriors, was it? Or the Lakers, actually. Yeah. And coming in, they had another high expectations, and now they're sitting in last place with 8-8. So I'm curious, where are they going to move from now?
Not last place, sorry, just to be clear. They're in 12th, but they're only above the Blazers, the Jazz,
12,
and the Pelicans.
correct. Right.
That's basically last place.
100%.
Exactly. Right. Because coming in, they had high expectation, bringing DeRozan in. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that team. And I think we'll be talking about the Lakers struggling. I think the struggle has started, and it's going to continue.
Do you guys, before I give you my predictions, do you guys want to know something crazy? Like I said, in the East, there are only 4 teams above 500. In the West, there are 11 teams above 500, and the Kings are the 12th at 500.
Crazy.
So it's also a big function of what conference you play in is how good you are.
Anyway,
it's a crazy thing. So if I had to tell you my thoughts for where we're going, I think we'll continue to talk about. We actually haven't spoken about it. I think we'll talk about James Harden in 2 weeks. I think what he's doing right now is very slept on. He's playing at an extremely high level. I don't think they're going to make a deep playoff run, but I think next time we speak, we'll give him his flowers. I think the Wolves will start to figure it out because they're at 8-7, so they've not really gotten in a routine, but it is starting to become. We're almost at the quarter part of the season mark, and I think by that time teams start to figure it out. I also agree, Nico, that we'll speak about the Knicks and they'll kind of figure their things out. And I think the Grizzlies are going to start losing. I just don't believe in that team, to be honest.
Me too. I do also hope they start losing. I don't really like that team. Wait, do you think the Clippers are going to make the playoffs outright? No way.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
I don't see the Clippers finishing above the 10th seed.
Okay, but look, so right now the top 10 in the West is exactly who you would think it would be. The teams that aren't in the top 10 are the Spurs, the Kings, the Blazers, the Jazz, and the Pelicans. Okay, none of those teams are really playoff teams. The only one that might do it is the Spurs. So whether they finish 6th where they are right now or 10th, I still think they're going to be in that top 10. I'm sorry. One thing I did want to say is that I actually think the Warriors are going back to the finals.
Wow.
I think the Warriors are going to be in the Western Conference Finals this season.
Against?
I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it. But,
Okay.
you know.
We know what you're talking about.
Guys, honestly,
God.
big pleasure to
By
have
the way,
you.
I'm a little worried about Minnesota. We'll keep that on in
Let's
2
put
weeks.
a pin in that for next time because
I mean,
think
Gobert and Randall do not like each other at all.
no, that
Two
that-
teams that we should
that
be
was
worried about
crazy.
is Phoenix and Dallas. Those two teams,
You saying we should be worried about in terms of
of
they're not
not,
gonna-
playing well, Not
KD's
not
out for
doing well.
Phoenix, but yeah, I agree. But let's wrap it there. I think we have a lot to talk about in 2 weeks. I agree that we'll keep an eye on the Timberwolves, the Suns, and the Mavericks. Nico, thank you again for joining us. As always, a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, Nico.
Thank you. Appreciate you, boys. In the
No
words
doubt.
of Dark and Ham, salute.
Salute, baby. Salute.
If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to us on YouTube and all podcasting apps.
And make sure you follow us on all the social media apps. Another one in the books, baby. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.